Will the bedroom tax save public money? And what do you think about it?
It's a very cruel tax.
Totally unfair. It's an absolute scandal. I always quote the case of Stephanie Bottrell that has killed herself, and several people are dying because of it. This is causing great suffering to people, and the media isn't really picking up on these stories. People on benefits are being charged 5% of their council tax on top of that. So in this case that I'm talking about, she was asked for a £20 increase in out of her money, plus 5% of her council tax. So that's something coming up to £30 a week.
She jumped under a lorry and killed herself.
Yeah, I was talking to a lady in Portishead one day, and I had a sign out about it, because I was protesting about it and saying this is wrong and what had happened. And she said to me that she had the same thing happen to her. And I said, well, why don't you do what I'm doing? Why don't you at least feel that you tell somebody how badly you're being treated? She said, I feel like a person in chains. I've got no voice. I'm scared. They're scared to protest because of the stigma of benefits.
Absolutely not. I think it's just a further attempt at focusing all the attention on people who are apparently scrounging. I think the government is just scapegoating people who aren't banks. All the talk in the papers, everything is designed to turn people against the wrong people. It is a smokescreen and nothing more. It is a ridiculous thing. I can't understand how the government has taken upon themselves because there's no mention in papers or anything. The papers are completely just showing nothing about banks, nothing about the people who actually dumped the country into debt. And they're like, point at the poor people. Yes, it's the poor people who made the money go wrong, the people who have none of the money. I don't think it'll save anything, and I think there's a lot of talk of the amount of people because there aren't rooms for people to move into, and a lot of, especially disabled people are being by people, and then people who have kids who need to come home. I mean, my girlfriend has an issue with her current. Well, it would be, but she has had to rent out her extra rooms because she doesn't have enough money to keep them for her to come back from uni. So whenever she comes back, she's sleeping on the floor. It's horrendous.
Is Labour right to promise to abolish it if they win the next election?
Yes.
Definitely right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely
it costs people
wrong.
much more.
Yeah.
You're
Money.
cutting people off money and homes. They turn to crime.
Yeah.
And then it costs hundreds of pounds, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of taxpayers' money to be put into prison, private prisons, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Most of these kinds of so-called efficiency charges cost money. They don't save money in the end. But they get them votes, so they're very popular with politicians,
And anyway, what sort of a society have we got if we don't care about each other?
You say, do you believe this promise, right?
Yeah.
If Ed Miliband, I feel that he's been pushed into kind of trying to be bland, and he's found that hasn't worked for him. So now he's saying, well, I'll be what I am then, And I think this is the right thing for him to do, because people are suffering, but as the British way, he's always quietly on a corner.
They're not suffering.
We don't go out there and do disgraceful thing any politician's ever done since the poll tax. And I think it's worse than the poll tax, because it separates one group from another. One group, it's only applying to me, and people are like that. If it doesn't affect them, well, it's sad, but why do I care? You're saying this, actually funny. Yesterday, I met a guy, and he came up to me, because I have a sign saying the bedroom tax is illegal and an immoral tax. He read it, and he said, that's a load of rubbish. And I said, well, why do you say that? And he said, it's my taxes that are paying that. So I told him the story of Stephanie Bottrell and other people, that a crippled lady who committed suicide when her son left home because she now had an extra room. And he said, well, but it's my money, why should I pay for it? So I just despair. Some people just don't seem to have souls. Maybe some people haven't got souls, I don't know, but he didn't seem to get it.
England is losing its soul to capitalism, unbridled capitalism, and it would destroy us.
Yeah.
It's true, capitalism kills.
Almost no faith in our entire political system, but that does sound like a good promise. I really want to believe it. David Cameron's a Bond villain, I swear. It's horrible. Someone who's saying they're going to abolish it rather than people who say they're going to make it worse, I will probably side with that.
Are the police right to spend millions of pounds building a firearms training centre?
It sounds like an awful lot of money to me, considering the amount of cuts that I believe the police are going, and I think the money would be better served having more policemen actually on the beat, more community policing.
They don't need it. They've got existing old buildings that they can use. It is a total waste of money. They could spend that on the police officers. You know what I mean? I've seen it when it was different. All the muggings and crime and everything else, they created that. When the police were on TV many years ago and they said, don't tackle the burglars, don't tackle the shoplifters, don't tackle the robbers, just give them the money. What all the thieves are going to do? What are all the muggers doing? Don't fight them, don't take them on, just give them their money. They gave them a licence to run riot, and that's why it's escalated the way it has. At one time, I can remember, if somebody shouted thief, everyone come out the shops, everyone jumped on them. Oh, no, don't. People just walk right past them now, they don't even look. It's all gone. The way it was is all gone. And that was people looking after people. Nobody locked their doors.
That they need to put that 60 million back into the economy to build more jobs for us. That's what they need to do. But they've always been like that, don't it?
Does that need to put it back into the economy and quit wasting money on building all these things when they're not going to be needed?
I guess it's up to them. If they believe it's necessary, then it's their money. They can do what they like. It's not really up to me to decide how the police spend their money. So if they believe that it's going to help fight crime, then yeah, go ahead.
At this time of austerity and what have you, I don't think it's necessarily the best way to spend money. I appreciate that the firearms service needs to be funded, etc., but I don't think the timing of it is particularly right for your everyday person to accept.
Should parts of the police service be privatised?
No, it's absolutely appalling idea. You only need to look at the mess, what happened with the Olympics. Just look at what's happened in the past. Learn the lessons.
It should be totally independent from the government and from the public. They are doing a service for the people without any politics in any form or manner. One undercuts somebody else and the costs end up being 3 times more. Look what's happened to all their computers and everything else. They've had to replace them. And they are for this country, for the people. That's it.
No way. I don't want to say it like that, being another form of gang already.
Definitely not as well. They're the biggest gang in the world.
Fine, that's absolutely fine.
I'm not really sure how that would work, to be honest, so I'd say no, because at the end of the day we pay our taxes. We deserve to have the police there to help us. If it's privatised, then...
If it's done in a way that is sort of regulated and checked on a regular basis, then I don't have a problem with it. As long as the people are fully trained and know what they're doing, then I'm happy with that.
Is having a police a crime commissioner a good idea?
No, it's a terrible idea because it politicises the police force. I know the person that we've got as police commissioner in Bristol. I think her main claim to fame is managing to bankrupt a bakery that had run in the city for like 50, 60, 70 years, however long it was. You will get them going for headline-grabbing policies which placate the press and not the things which would actually make a difference to the people of Bristol.
The crime commissioner, you do need it because there are more criminals coming into the police force, etc., perverting the course of justice, etc., making up numbers, etc., twisting things round when they're not really real. I've actually seen the police, literally 15 of them, pulling all the people off of the buses for 10 pence that they haven't paid. They've paid part of the fare, but not all of it, or they jumped the buses, and I've seen them prosecuting them just to make the numbers up for prosecutions that they've actually had to try and outweigh the crimes. Normally, it's got nothing to do with the police. That's a transport police. Police commissioner, as long as they don't have any political aims at all, they're totally independent. I voted for her, the woman. I see her, she had no political affiliations at all, and I voted for her, and that's why she's in. But you do need them, but they've got to be used in a proper context.
So I think it's a waste of public funds, and I'd rather it be spent on something more combating crime rather than paying somebody's fat salary.